Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order and do the roll call. The South Kohala Action Committee meeting will now come to order. It is Thursday, September 18, 2025. And the time is 5:01 p.m. This meeting is held in person and by interactive conference technology. The meeting will also be recorded on Zoom. As a reminder, per Sunshine Law, as HC committees appearing remotely must keep their cameras on and announce anyone who is with them except for minors in their location. Please note for everyone leaving the meeting packet, there's a QR code on the last page of the agenda that you can scan to access it. So at this time, we'll roll call and introduction by myself as the chair, committee members, Vice Chair Scott Manata.
Here.
Committee member Karen Anderson.
Here.
Thank you. Committee member Josephine Tanimoro, aka Jojo. AKA Jojo, are you present? Signify by saying present or aye. Okay. Yep. Committee member Julia Alves.
Present.
Committee member Van Lau. Present. Committee member Owana Wilcox.
Present.
And I am Chair Tricity Tuan, and we have a quorum to hold this meeting. Thank you, everyone. Absent today is Ruth Smith and Kevin Watson. From the county official staff, from the planning department, planning staff member of Kohala is joining us via Zoom. Jessica Lekip and Pamela Khalili, who is here present. So for
Present.
housekeeping, please make sure your cell phones are turned off or on silent mode. If there's anyone here who would like to testify, please fill out and sign the form and give it to our staff. It's on the back table by the entrance. Zoom testifiers can send a message in the chat to the Zoom host indicating which item they wish to testify on. We ask that everyone please state your name before speaking, and I'll also remind you before you're speaking, your earliest. It's prepared to all of us who are attending in person. Please remember to speak toward the owl camera microphone so everyone on Zoom can hear. A device is right in the front of the center. Aloha etiquette for today's meeting: maintain an open and positive attitude. Listen to understand. Everyone has a right to share and be comfortable with their own ideas. It's okay to disagree as long as it is done respectfully. If you need to argue the issue and not against a person. One person speaks at a time with no side conversations. Limit distractions by turning cell phones off and not doing outside work during a meeting. And in appreciation of everyone's time, please honor the time limits. We do have one testifier, James Donovan. I will call upon you in regards to agenda item number 2 when we reach that section. Approval of minutes. The minutes from the August 21st meeting are still being finalized. A draft will be available by September 30th, 2025 in the public record repository at https www.planning.hawaiicounty.gov/general-plan-planning/CDP/S-Kohala. If you need help, call me later. Now we can stop. Okay. Nothing moving forward. Public testimony on agenda items. At the time is 5:04 p.m. The committee will now call for statements from the public as stated in the published agenda. Members of the public may provide public testimony regarding any agenda item now or at the time the agenda item is called to order. If there is anyone here who would like to testify, we would please fill out the sign up form on the back table and give to one of our staff, Jessica. Or Ms. Kalina on that table. In-person testimony, so we have one person, James Donovan, who has signed up to provide public testimony on agenda item number 2. Would you like to speak now, or would you like to wait for the start of that agenda item?
Madam Chair, I think I was in the error. It probably should be under Roman numeral 4. Not on the agenda. Quite frankly, I'm not sure of all the agenda items. I apologize for not being better prepared to come to this event. I'm not sure that, I thought this was a board meeting, and I guess it's a committee meeting. And my issue was really looking at the trees, putting a tree kind of, or rules in order to protect views of the issue that I have, which I'm not sure is appropriate for this group, but I'm happy to testify if that's something that you would be wanting to hear.
Okay, yes, we could listen to your testimony, provide public comment. Now, even if it's not on the agenda, we can allow that, and they're the only person testifying today in person. We could put it on as a discussion of the panel, and then maybe have a follow-up in the future, and maybe redirect you later to where you could top stories of the board. Because we represent the South Kohala CDP Action Committee, and then we can discuss later after the meeting convenes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And if I may, the other issue that I have in mind is my feeling that it would be good if we had four-plex zoning, and I'm not sure that this is a county zoning thing, but simply the federal lending law of 1 to 4 dwelling units, it seems that four-plex zoning is overdue here in Hawaii, and could be a solution to a lot of the housing problems where the owner will be living there and have 3 units for rental and a combination of long-term, short-term, that I think will be beneficial. So I guess I'm now already testified to that. So, thank you very much.
Thank you for giving your comment today. We will take your comment in consideration, but we're just gonna vote on it today.
Well, would you like, the way to talk about, I'd like to have, people to talk about tree restrictions and so forth, and fire safety related items, if that's proper for the agenda this evening. I'm sorry to be out of order if I am.
If there is no contesting to allow him to speak, any questions? No, at this time, you can go ahead. Dave, yes, sure, so, Karen, you can hear and Mariam online.
Thank you. My name's James Donovan. I've been a resident here in Whiteville Village, been an owner since 1993. I owned a couple houses and a lot that's later sold. The point is that I was happy that I moved into the house and I kept on moving here and had an ocean view. And I thought how wonderful this was. And then as time went on, a lot of trees were growing up and taking away the view. And in fact, some trees that were even in the open area was the responsibility of the Whiteville Village. So, owners and I were unsuccessful in persuading the board to allocate about $6,000 for tree trimming around all of the properties. Long and the short of it is the board, has not been receptive to considering tree height restrictions for view planes. And yet the original documents of the association talk about the views that it has. I lived in the house that had a nice view that started to lose. I now live in another house up on the top of the hill. I've got a really fabulous view, but for how long? And we can really improve the values of the properties in Whiteville Village, at least half of them that have ocean views. That, and I think would also cut down on the amount of material that would be there in case of fire. I am also an owner of Kohala Ranch property, and in Kohala Ranch property, they have a rule that at 25 feet, you have to cut your trees down, except for palm trees and those that are trimmed in a different manner. And I would like to see the board reconsider that decision.
The board, as you reiterated, is the Whiteville Village Association Board.
I think that's the one who has the jurisdiction on it, you know, I can't hear that, I was maybe I'm not sure what it is, if it goes beyond Whiteville Village, we were talking the whole South Kohala area, or even more, so that's why, in a way, I apologize that I wasn't prepared for exactly, with whom I was meeting today. But those are the things on my mind as a resident who's been here for 25 years and see the values and fine community. I'd like to see our views protected and the fire material reduced.
Do you know when is the next Whiteville Village Association community meeting?
You know, I don't, I'm
Next Tuesday? Julia,
it's the 4th Tuesday.
fourth Tuesday of every month.
I'm always follow her. So old rock and roller is Charlie, I can't be there tonight.
Generally, Zoom. Zoom? Yeah, you guys provide Zoom.
I might be able to participate by Zoom, thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you, James. Any questions from the board, the action committee members to James? Go ahead.
Comment, I did see your article that you had submitted to the editor in the West July Today about 8 years ago.
Okay.
And I still have the original post that you had put in the newspaper, because I thought it was a very informative and responsible letter, so I'm not in the floor plans. So
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So as a full follow-up, I'd like to actually maybe document this, and as a recording that we could do a follow-up at the next South-Kohala Action Committee meeting, with the assistance of the planning department to see if there is any county code or county, laws or rules that have any bylaws on the 25 feet view, 25 feet trim access. I know, Kohala, there was a gentleman that lived in Waipio years ago who had commented at an action committee meeting, but I don't know what the outcome was. He was a vice chair of that action committee, and it did come up in regards to trees blocking the views. Vice versa, whether it's the neighbor or the county or their. Anyway, yeah, so I think we could possibly do that, and James, with that help, we'd like to ask that if you came to the next meeting, and you would give us some feedback, if you hear anything from us, if you're able to send those.
Thank you, I'll do my best to be there.
Thank you, James. Yeah. Okay, Jojo?
Did you post bring up for the association?
I'm sorry, what's that again, please?
Did you post bring up this?
From Mike.
The tree trimming?
Jojo, you can turn up your mic, thank you.
If you want me to have my, can I get people or
Oh, there. Yeah, there you are.
Wait for the green.
my first name?
Wait for it to turn green. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was the question again, please?
Yeah, did you bring the issue up before the Waikoloa Community Association? What did they have to say?
The Waikoloa Village Association, yes, that's been for many years ago. I brought it up a number of times, and each time they just said that the bylaws did not call for that to happen. Yet the preamble, the very first thing on the cover of the document. So they never chose to do it. The 1 year in question, there were trees in Nui Street behind in that open space area. And there was a neighbor, I lived on Nui Street at the time, the neighbor down the way wanted the trees trimmed. Eventually, he did pay for it himself. But we went to the board and they calculated with around town and other areas that it would cost about $6,000. At the time, I myself was told that missed that the board was spending about $6,000 for a bus that was going to be used for the youth to go down to the harbor for water. I didn't even know that was good. I said, really not the community. That's you take care of the assets of the community anyway. That article fell short with the board. A couple other times I brought it up. In fact, I think I even mentioned it informally at the board meeting a couple of months ago. And there were a couple of board members who said, that really sounds great. And others were, I'm not sure we want to move off the 9, but nobody seems to ever give me an argument that is a good argument for not having rules there. It's not a county rule. Kohala Ranch, as I said, did put the rule. I used to be the architectural control chairman of the ranch. And subsequent to my being in that position, they have put in a rule for tree trimming. So it's easy to do. It's just required the Waikoloa Village Association to do so. And heretofore, they have not acted on that. And I'm hoping to raise you awareness of that again. That's why I'm here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your answer. I don't see anyone online that wishes to provide public testimony, so we can continue on with our agenda. So, in regards to third-party reports for government officials, the action committee may receive and discuss information from third-party reports by any government official not included in a publicly noticed agenda. The action committee may only make decisions on matters originally raised by third-party reports. When any government official at a later meeting or the agenda for the meeting gives one to the decision-making on the matter pursuant to SB 405.
Oh.
I do see that we have Kendra here. Is there anything, Kendra, in regards to a report that you'd like to provide? I know you represent county council of systems. You work for James closely. And so this would allow the opportunity if you'd like to say in your report, on non-agenda items or agenda items.
Thank you, Chair. I do have some responses to last month's meeting.
Okay.
And as a particular, a couple of updates as well. It's from the. Oh, she had it. I love to. And there's more this way. I feel like I'm this way. So, everyone, I do have an update. I don't know if I'm last minute meeting. From Councilmember Eustace, he makes his apologies for not being here this evening. He had a family event in honor of the passing of his father-in-law, who was not the one that said that she's so the choices regrets for that. So several of the agenda items that we talked about last month, I wanted to give updates on. One being the level of community center, the education project. We don't have a lot of information going forward on that at the time, just that, the some parts are supposed to do this. And that's in relation to the roof replacement. And then also, just, James had noticed that it's lagging a little bit. This specifically has a big first push for that. And he has a first meeting actually in the office on Thursday. To do some updates regarding that, conversations also on dog parks and other projects throughout the district. Here. Related to the school sewer project, Karen, I know that you're here, and I know that you'll be doing a full update tonight. I'll be doing a full update on that, but just to preempt only slightly, Karen's update. James has been meeting with the team on a regular basis. Either multiple times per month or at least monthly, and then also joined them in Kilo recently, with state and legislative individuals. So right now they're basically looking at a lot of different things as it's sitting. I don't see the way to grab something you can show them the details for you. And then in regard to the Rydell water resources update. I just wanted to say that water in our particular district has been particularly important. Obviously, in the last 4 weeks, with some of the challenges we've seen in the North Kohala area. And so not a lot really to update on the demand situation. And the last meeting is about cameras, lighting around that particular area, security for all water facilities in the district, but that hasn't been pushed back. It's just been slightly set aside due to some of the challenges that we've had with water. So it is a project that we're still working on. In addition to that, he's had several meetings of late with Chief Todd, Fire Chief Todd, related to fire mitigation throughout the entire district. And a couple of projects that they're working on there. And then in July High, we did a community conversation with Councilman Eustace and then the team from PICO a couple of weeks ago. Had a wonderful turnout, by having in our community, and a great long conversation. With other question and answer period, where we looked at maps and different projects within the Kohala area that our residents were interested in. And then, also as well as touching on the cold water projects. So, anything else that you can do, presentation, and I haven't updated before that you might have questions.
Anyone have any questions or updates?
Oh,
That was,
one question, why come up from fire? You on that one?
I don't have information on the library. For instance, I know that I was in at a conference last week. And, the state librarian was there, and, when I talked about my daughter, she threw her hands up in the air and said, finally, that library is coming. And that was the extent, because there were too many people in the room, and we were talking about a totally different project. At that particular time, so I didn't have a chance to say, wait, stop this whole meeting, and give me the update, which I would love to time. But unfortunately, I don't, but that's something I certainly can get an update on the one.
Yeah, it's big, so it's not, you know.
But still, it's a big project for me, but it's a good question.
thank you, Kendra.
Absolutely.
Please, send our thanks to James, Councilman James, for all he's continuing to do with our work and you as part of his administration. To give our report today. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, I guess I'm jumping around, I'm sorry if we're not following my agenda like you. I kind of got shown off again, but it's okay. What is stop me? No, it's not you, we went ahead, but it's okay. With that being said, at this time, it's 5:23, and we will now move on to business item number 1 regarding the Mahalo letters. So Vice Chair Scott Nagata requests the committee sends letters of appreciation to schools for their willingness to serve as evacuation centers. Any update from Scott?
Okay, yes, this is kind of continuing on from last, meeting, where we were talking with, civil defense, and we're talking about whole, excuse me, multiple, evacuation centers being available to the community, and one of them that we discussed was, HBA, who on their own, they opened up the campus to, community members and, house quite a few, actually, house overnight some people as well. Fed them, and, took them in willingly. This is not designated as an evacuation center, but we'd like to, I would maybe, put a motion that we send them a thank you letter or, being, so kind of interview, along the line that did visit with them, and they are, more than willing to, open their campuses up for any situation that will come up. They have pretty much everything there, and even have a communication center, and, the, line of sight is a very good area. Beautiful city area. Or very, and the other one, also that opened up their facility without, again, without civil defense, asking, was the White Glove School. And they did open that up, and I actually was talking with one of my today, this afternoon. Yeah, they're more than happy to do that, and if they were to be called, they would like the advance notice, as much notice as possible. So I'm trying. I actually have a list that I gave civil defense, and I've been building that list, and so they have all these contact information, contact numbers, how much people can be accommodated, so, and what kind of accommodations are available for each location. So, that by now. Pretty covered 6 or 7. Might one more. Kohala is a little different situation. The resorts can handle themselves as long as it's not a really huge disaster. But village has a little bit of school right now at this point. So it's maybe something that Parks and Rec might consider. I don't know. Yeah, the school was asking about that. If there was gonna be anything else that I felt not compare. But anyway, I was wondering if I could motion that we send a letter to these schools and letters of appreciation. For that.
Before we make a motion, would we have a list of all the schools, so that way we can send a general letter that's personal to each school? I guess a draft, that's what I'm asking. If we could help the planning department create a draft, in regards to one, just to Mahalo, and two, if there's services, what kind of services other than additionally they would offer, and the only reason why I asked is I attended also the same conference as Pedro mentioned. It was the Hawaii State and Counties Conference down in Hakuna last week, Thursday and Friday. And one of the communications was in our AI resilience side conference discussion was accessibility to Wi-Fi or communication systems when it comes to an emergency evacuation situation. And so, for example, we know Waimea Community Center right now does not have Wi-Fi connectivity. We experienced that last meeting with the setup for our Zoom meeting, and we kind of lost Jojo for a little bit, but we want to make sure that our capabilities, because we know that there's connection, connectivity at the library, but it's not open for public use right now. So we want to make sure that if there is an evacuation center, not just being a place of location, but accessibility of communication because it's broken. And our leaders are at the Emergency Operations Center in Kona or wherever they house them at, that we get the same transmittals or, timeliness of events rolling out. And I think that's only fair to those entities who are willing to volunteer their space or their location, but not necessarily have to use their maybe Wi-Fi connectivity, because sometimes it may cost or have a cost to it, so I think I'd like to have more discussions into seeing more challenges or seeing more, I guess, how we can kind of streamline a Mahalo versus, or Mahalo in addition to other services they think it could need, and we could support, that's my commitment. Go ahead.
I'd like to add that maybe civil defense should get CERT involved. Maybe CERT would be a mediator to be able to facilitate the satellites, things and like that. And there's also providing resilience of backups, but it seems there are no reason we call to stand up in Markarala. We have 460 people located from the 430. Which school. And I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but one of my questions, one of my comments that I've got for the new upcoming new business for the next meeting that we host is we're long overdue. It said 17 years long ago that we were talking about a community center, a gym, a Harvey gym shelter to fulfill the need for the school, to have help the school for evacuees and whatnot. So this conversation is timely, segue into where I'm going.
You mentioned the air conditioning.
You're exhausted. I think maybe the county. Maybe give up the. Good permission to use these facilities as evacuation center. there should be some kind of report as to what capacity is. And then how long these people stay there, possibly better, because this case is historic. If it's not an accident, then it's fire over mountains, animals, and it's all kind of incidents, and it's erosion and that, but I mean, hopefully give us increase, so we think that, the county would have some kind of information. Because if the hotels are full, everybody's people. And, you go to one now, we have capacity to take people, they have traffic, food. Something. Especially if the right news with government. I'd like to have, this is probably not the level, but it's part of all. This discussion.
Thank you, Giorgio.
Thank you.
If you have a draft of the letter, it's. Try to send it to you.
Okay.
And you have a letter, it does the specifics for schools, don't have like a low. You have HBA's, but I don't. Like below.
Can we add on,
Yeah.
yeah, but you have on Ronald Church, that was the one that took in by recommend people. And then they took over, yeah, when the community center closed, they took those people.
Yes.
I'd like to table this until we can solidify the direct amount of people who we'd like to reach out, whether it's a public service entity or a educational facility. So we can kind of collaborate a little bit more and kind of detail where we're trying to aim for, and then we can maybe start work on this for the next meeting, and we'll have a full report ready to go and make a motion, but do we have to make a motion? Because I do wanna do a letter, but I think we just need to finalize the details of the letter and to whom we will send it to. So that way we can keep
I
accountability
don't
and
think you have to
track
make
it
a motion to table.
in case.
Mariam's not answering, but I don't think, oh, well, let me see.
Just because it's an agenda item already, so I think we can just go ahead and push it. And maybe,
Yeah, I don't, if you wanted just to table it, you don't need a motion. Unless you're making a motion to basically,
table it to the next meeting.
yeah.
Oh, there's Miriam.
There.
Sorry, Miriam, the question was if we could take. We need to make a motion on the letter, the Mahalo letter, because we want to work on fine tuning the draft that Scott has. To identify if there was any other public service entities that we can recognize to send a letter to, in addition to the schools that he has listed. And give us some time, to the next meeting to have that prepared, and I don't know if a motion is needed because it's already on the agenda, or if a motion is to be made to table it to the next meeting.
Okay, sorry guys, I just, my Wi-Fi seems to be a little bit more spotty, but, so if I'm hearing you correctly, you guys want to do the letter, but you also might want to identify other people to send these letters to? And
Yes,
so you want to push this onto the next meeting,
yes,
and you don't want to vote on anything today?
we want the letter to be done, but we just need, I guess.
More
Okay,
time.
because you can just do like the few that were mentioned today, and then you can do it again at the next meeting also. And the motion, because there's no, the motion can simply just be like the intention of the Mahalo letter and, key points that you want included, and then you guys can vote on that, and that will be good enough for us to finalize and send to chair for signature. And then you guys can do it again at the next meeting, or you can do it all at the next meeting and just not, up to you, how you folks want to handle.
I can, Scott,
Can you make a motion to write the letter that we have now?
You like, here, quick, okay, so. Okay, so this is a sample letter, this is on behalf of South Kohala CDP Action Committee. I extend our deepest gratitude to Hawaii Preparatory Academy for offering to open your campus as the emergency shelter. Your willingness to welcome our community with shelter, meals, and methods, or provided an invaluable sense of safety and care for time. Emergencies place immense strain on families and individuals, and your swift and generous response ensures that those impacted have a secure place to stay and were treated with compassion and dignity. The hospitality and resources provided by your faculty, staff, and students exemplify the highest values of community stewardship and service. We are truly grateful for your partnership and commitment to the well-being of both graduate residents. Please extend our appreciation to everyone at HPA contributed to this effort. Your leadership and make a profound difference for those who need it most. We love attending with our community in times of need. More regards. That's actually very cheap probably. That's
I'm gonna take a hold of this because I don't see a hard copy that I can actually read it myself.
That is correct, and that's why we're asking if we need to wait for the next meeting, so all you action committees, if we vote today, can see and review the actual intent of the letter. So it hasn't been formulated yet to you folks, it hasn't been distributed, because Scott just made the draft, but they just worked on the draft with Mayor and stuff, like that, so. Because we can have that.
yeah. Sorry.
So because it's not included in the packet for you, the action committee members to review, I would like to make a motion that we table this to the next meeting. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Julia. It's been motion and second. Any other further questions or discussion? No.
Should be here, but does anybody know about like community association, how many to do with emergency programs? That would take Patty would do that information, right?
It would be Mrs. Smith.
I would think that would be part of the resources, stuff.
Yeah.
And that would chat with and we would, like, when they're community considering stuff. Or if I.
Thank you.
So the motion has been made to table this discussion until the next meeting. It's been seconded by Julia. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item is the Kohala Sewer Project update. Committee member Karen Anderson will provide an update on the Kohala Sewer Project. Go ahead, Karen, you have the floor.
Hi, everyone. This is Karen Anderson. I'm providing an update on the Kohala Sewer Project, and it is filled with good news and not surprising news. Notice I didn't say bad news, it's just not surprising news. So the good news is, first of all, James Hustis is a rock star. He's been so helpful on this project. He comes to every meeting we need him at. He goes and talks to anyone we need him to talk to. He's just unafraid, and he's a real advocate for the community. So I just want to say thank you to James, and we are very, very lucky to have him. So that's the highlight of the good news. The second highlight of the good news is that at our last action committee meeting a couple months ago, this group agreed to send a letter to the county asking them to fund a $1 million fund to help communities implement wastewater solutions. You guys approved the letter. James took it to the council, and the council approved the $1 million revolving fund, and the mayor didn't veto it. So it's there in the capital budget. So that's a $1 million fund for communities like Puuko who want to implement a sewer or any type of wastewater community system that, and it takes money, takes about $1 million. So that was really great on our part. The other good news is the Director of Environmental Management has said there's no technical technical hiccups or obstacles in implementing a sewer in Puuko with the county. So technical challenges. So that's, engineering type stuff. So that's good. The other good news is that we as Puuko for Reefs have done an initial environmental and cultural impact study, otherwise known as a survey, and of 3 different routes for the sewer. And there were no significant findings. It doesn't mean it's scot-free, but there was no significant findings. So we're moving on to the next step, which is really good. And the community continues to be involved, and American Waters is still interested in accepting the waste, and the Monolani management or ownership is evaluating our requests. So that's all the good news. The not surprising news is that the county doesn't have the human power capacity or the financial capacity to work on projects like this. And we've met with them many, many times, with James, without James. So to be specific, the $1 million revolving fund, the county doesn't have the capacity to even, well, they say they don't have the capacity to even think about funding it. So, number one. Number two, the Department of Environmental Management, as of a month ago, was down about 25 people. At that time, they had 1 engineer. So even to review our preliminary engineering report, they don't have the time to do that. They just need to they're still trying to hire up their staff, right? Number 3 is we also need to work with Corp Counsel and Finance. And they too are, overworked at this point. And especially with wastewater management, they have these 2 big consent decrees from the federal government. One is the Hilo plant, another is wastewater somewhere else in the south of the island, that the federal government is, they've agreed to follow federal government guidelines, and that's taking up a lot of their time. It's also, those 2 big projects are going to push the county right up to its debt ceiling limit. So finding money to work on projects like this, any community project is going to be hard. So it really all does come down to, not surprising, money. But we as the Puuko for Reefs community aren't giving up. That's our new motto, never, never give up. We are now working with private investors, philanthropists, and trying to bring the county into these discussions so that we can go to the county with a package that easily allows them to kind of get involved without requiring too many resources of theirs. That all takes money. And so we in Puuko for Reefs are looking at raising more private money, philanthropy, maybe PRIs, program-related investments that can be paid back. So that's the thing. everyone wants to, oh, the other thing is we talked to the state, our senator, our representative, and even David Tarnas, who used to be our rep, who's now a rep somewhere else. And they all love the project. But the state doesn't normally give to wastewater projects. And so they're struggling to figure out how they can help. So we are trying to kind of lead that thinking along. So everyone likes the project, everyone understands the need. It's having the capacity in the county to work on this when they have so many other, especially in wastewater, big projects staring at them. It's like they're deer in the headlights. So that's where we're at.
Thank you, Karen, for your report. It was very spotty. Do we come over spotty when we're talking?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So there's a lag in the system. Jojo has a question for you, Karen. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me, Karen? Hello? Hello, hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, okay, I was wondering that you're working with the county. What does the state health department have to say, or how are they going to help? That's their job, is to help, right? So have you folks asked the state health department what they can do?
Well, hold on one second. I'm trying to turn myself louder. I don't think I can. Anyway,
Okay.
the
Can you hear me
state,
now?
I think you're
Yeah.
asking about state funding, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so the state told us two things. They don't normally fund wastewater, as that is the purview of the county. The second thing is that in 2019, the state gave the county $1.5 million to work on the Puaco project. The county rerouted that money, and our state senator and representatives believe that it'll be almost impossible to convince the House and the Senate to give any more money to the county and to Puaco until, quote unquote, the county steps up and leads this project.
Sorry, we didn't really understand you. Are you able to type in the Zoom chat?
Can I text, did you say?
Yes. Are you able to text or go into the Zoom chat and put comment writing in the chat?
I can, it's funny, you're as broken up as I am. So, yes, I can. But it's going to take me a while. So I would say I'll answer Jojo's question while you guys move on, and I'll put it in the chat. So you don't wait for me to do one finger punching.
Because I also had a question for you in addition to Jojo's question, not from the state. But because there was communication sent from the Hawaii Mayor's office.
So I
In
think it was
regards
up
to
from 1 to 2, but what
7/31
I
this
kept
year, in
losing
regards to
connection.
news release groundbreaking help for Hilo wastewater treatment plant upgrades. And that plant upgrades is a project that is approved of $337 million to replace outdated equipment. So I wanna see, or I guess what I'm trying to say is, if they approve for the Hilo one, why they cannot approve for the Puaco one when the community is providing half or some funding and making an effort to help the county, it's one. And two, if the $337 million and it's already bid on, delivered by non-Inc. to cover to help. Why is it such a challenge for Puaco if we're trying to move towards off the cesspool law and trying to go into a more environmental, healthy, safety wastewater treatment plant?
if they cannot build one, but they like fix one on one that's unrestricted in the amount of their money, so I guess what I'm saying is I'd like for them to kind of expedite the concern of the community, for the community trying to help themselves versus an existing issue, so I'm not sure if there is any reason or rationale why they did it that way, but this is just, I'm not sure, so where I'm actually getting to it, because it's kind of, in my terms, it's all pulling backwards in what our county or what our state is trying to accomplish, if we're trying to move in a certain direction. And so I just wanted to make that comment if I can or not, but I don't know if I did already. It's just me, we're having a discussion with you guys and it's the action committee. I'm not sure if you guys are all going to be updated from the county of Hawaii, now you guys are part of the action committee plan. But this is something that we should be more mindful when we do see it that comes through our emails. That we should red flag it and question and second question it. Because we are trying to have this on our agenda to get off our agenda so that we can have some improvements on something else that's more, that'll come to light as well. And so we know your troubles at Cuoco for so long, Karen, and just know that we're still advocating for you guys, and thanks to Councilman James Eustace for keeping this up on his shoulders, and so we're all just kind of playing our role while we can, I guess.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussions? If not, then we will move on to the next subject item. Water resources update. Vice Chair Scott Nagata will provide an update on resources for South Kohala, if we have any.
Okay. Gonna focus more on White Willow area, that actually doesn't affect White Willow so much, but it's in this area. The Walamila Reservoir, it's the largest reservoir on this island. Construction is, progressing, it's, the tank is starting to be built, at least it's scheduled for this month, so. The tank build should be started already. Yeah, it did have some delays, but, it is progressing. They, also. And Walamilo, reservoir, would help supply customers in Kauai Harbor. The industrial lots in Malamami, Kapuna. And they're paid each resort or the being protocol, so that's hopefully beneficial for both. Reservoir is owned and operated by regard to the other one that I'm kind of watching, White Willow Reservoir #1 in Vietnam. That I did have some delays on it, and it had some rewired schedule. Basically because the state updated their downstate regulation, so they're trying to make sure that they actually got all of that. So that's where that, but they do have that still on the schedule and we're trying to do the updated safety standards. Other than that, I don't.
Thank you, Scott, for your report. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on this item?
I said something about the water resources later, actually.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
You can state your name, so you can state your name, and you have 3 minutes, then you can speak.
Sure. Great, Matt Chalker, resident of Whiteville Village. So Parker Well #1, which is right down here at the bottom of the golf course, is been under lots of repairs. The sheathing is all falling apart, and it's been staffed at the Whiteville Village Association for 40 years, exclusively for use on the golf course. And it is being returned. I think right now the plan is to return it back to Hawaii Water Service, and their plan is, as far as I'm aware, I've pitched it to them. This is a thing that Jeff is aware of and James is aware of as well. But their plan currently is to seal it, because it will cost so much to put it, to introduce you guys publicly now also, it'd be really, really cool if instead of that, we put a really low flow pump at the bottom of it to expand the pond at hole 4 down there, that then can be actually used for a firefighting tank. Right now, that pond is not big enough for the firefighters to go into it, but if we could expand it, double the size of it or something like that, all the pump would need to do is be able to counteract evaporation. That can probably be done via solar. I don't know the technical details of the whole thing, but I do know that a new 850-foot shaft costs about $2.5 million to drill. So before we throw a bunch of concrete in one, I want to make sure that we we're yeah, exhausted every single possibility to that, especially since this would be enhancing fire safety. That's it.
Thank you for your comment. We appreciate that. We're getting educated today.
Can I ask you one question?
Oh, yes, sir.
You said 500,000, is that dollars or is that gallons? Well,
No, the pump wouldn't be $500,000, so the well is just down there.
The
and,
batteries,
right now it's just shut down,
And the
it's gonna cost about
link.
$50,000 just to pull the pump from the bottom and just to be able to diagnose the thing. But it costs about $2.5 million to drill out a new 800 to 900 foot deep well, so it's more than $500,000, it's a lot.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. No, you're fine, Cool, yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Maybe you and Scott can collab later after the meeting.
No.
Okay, anyone else? Hearing and seeing none, we can move on to the next agenda item, which is the Waikoloa Public Library. So the committee will discuss the status of the library followed by potential decision making. We don't have anything to provide here, but I'd like to make a motion that we support. I know we've done it before, that's why, so for the likes of me, I know we've had this on a discussion before Tim Richards went for conference. When we had discussion meetings. The library, because we asked. I know there was discussion with the library, the evac center and the gym. Community center was like supposed to be all tied in together. So I wanna say there may be something in our minutes before on this discussion, but. My motion would be to support the library in this. Waikoloa community, Waikoloa village. Second. We will likely to request that in a little bit more discussion before you say, because I gotta really think about what we're making a motion on. If it's just a letter to support the library, or a letter for the county to provide funding. Do you know if there's anything with Waikoloa Village Association on the library? No.
There's nothing with Waikoloa Village Association, the county has nothing to do with it, it's a state project. It was, Dad's funded it, Stacy Aldrich, is chief librarian in the state. All that's in motion, I don't know what the funding status is for building it. I do know that the county of Hawaii was working closely with the plans of design, and we're going to possibly sharing a parking lot for the county and the Housing Development Corporation here on island to be building the community center. It's all in our CDP law. It's been, we've been hearing about it for 20-some years, and nothing has gotten done, but I know that the Parks and Recs gentleman, Messina was talking with the last administration about where we're just gonna share the parking so they could have, the library and make it have more. I could have sworn I saw a diagram or something, something about the community center that was going to be built at, really, the county is, in our CDP people responsible for doing well. And we didn't discuss, in relation to, also using it as a very student activation system, just because we just need an update. But anyway, so that's my story.
Thank you, Julia. I think we can table this discussion before I make a motion, so I'd like to make a motion to table this discussion until the next agenda, to the next meeting, so we can we can finalize educating ourselves on what are the actual CDP in the general plan and where it is now, the help back. I would remove my second and my second opinion.
Thank you, Jojo.
I think we get on video for it first, yeah.
Okay, if there's no other further testimonies or questions, we can move on to the next item of agenda. Is revitalization of Hawaii High's cultural and historic resources. Committee member Jojo Tanimoto will provide an update followed by potential decision making. Go ahead, Jojo.
Okay, I'd like to say that we went through the document and old document, I think the new one, so it's the same document as when the CDP was made, so it's very interesting, that I went back and I read the whole thing. So I decided to ask my motion according to what the document says. And it registers as well with the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. Because that's one of the priorities for the Kohala regional plan. So it matches the both plans. And so I use the wording from the CDP document for the request. Number two, as far as for the cultural resources, we were planning last month to hold a site visit. And with the cultural resource committee. I have no update on when that's going to be, and everybody that is linearly incentive for people that have government interest in this program. Are all on board, but we're waiting to find out about this cultural site. Okay, but it's moving along because everybody is interested in how this is coming on Ghana's. I mean, that's where we had to see the government. And so, we even have the national park on board. And, we're ready to go as soon as we find out what else is needed. On top of that, I will ask that, the Department of Interior, which handles the, AGBA Act, the Preservation Act, and then the state of Hawaii that handles the Preservation Division, are also on board, and the Department of the Interior would like to know if this planning department would like to be notified or identified on a list to be notified about when they have impacts to the Kohala, which is that segment of land. So they would like to know that part. But as far as for moving along with this program, we do need to restore, because of all the fires, you can't find the trails, you can't find where the sugarcane train used to run to the Kauai harbor, the old harbor, not today's harbor, old harbor. There's places like trails that pass by salt ponds and fish ponds and ponds they used to water the plants. Because they had a season where you go planting and you move, and then you have the season when you fish and you come down to the ocean. So we didn't have highways and roads and all that kind of stuff. So all of that portion to be identified within the document And that's the way the document reads that portion of. So that means that the document needs to be updated. Which is another part, because you only have about 9 that's listed in the document. And we're looking at another at least 1,000 more. So, anyway, that's the way the request is according to the document. And I sent that report to Mary Ann, so she has it in writing. I don't know if she distributed it to you guys yet, but, that's where that is. Thank you.
Thank you, Jojo, for your report. I do have your report from September 8th. I received, and the motion that you had asked for is to request the South Kohala Community Development Plan Action Committee to approve encouragement and support regarding the revitalization of Kauai High's cultural and historic resources. Furthermore, there is a need to update the document to include the following information. You did provide the chapters that is needed to be revised. I have a question before we make a motion. One of my questions is, were you able to provide this information when the public testimonies was happening in the communities? I guess like I should say, when the county had reopened the general plan, they was doing public testimonies in each community. Were you able to provide that when they were revising and seeking public revisions to the general plan at that time?
Actually, no, because, Kohala wasn't notified that this general plan was being revised and revised and revised, and revised. So we did check with the CDP and this, committee did say that they wanted to take care of Pelicani Bay, and then there was that flood, and then all the timber that was on the side of the highway is now in the Pelicani, so with the EO in there, and then the fishes and whatnot all started to move towards Porno. So I would have to say with the general plan, it was designated for Hawaii High, but nobody knew. So,
Yeah, it is unfortunate that
yeah, because it's gonna be passed pretty soon, and it's in the county council.
I believe they're already voted. No, not yet. Oh, it's
No,
going
it's
on
not.
hold?
Yeah, so, it's-
Okay.
but anyway, for looking this up, because we're waiting on a site visit so that we can get some kind of community input, but you know, I brought it here first. So that's where that is.
Go ahead, Kendra.
Chair, I can provide an update, to you and Jojo, and a copy to you as well, on when the next opportunities to testify on the general plan will be. But those opportunities really are only in ELO.
Thank you.
Or you can do in writing, or you can do via Zoom, but Chair, I'll provide you with that schedule so you can distribute.
Thank you.
So I'll just submit what I sent for the CDP to the county council then.
We will make a motion on it if you'd like that backing.
Well, to the county council, since it's gonna come up before next time.
That is correct, but we would add it as an advocate. Of your-
Yes, thank you, yes.
Jojo, will you make the motion? As a chair, I'd like to make a motion that the action committee approve an encouragement and support revitalization of Hawaii High's cultural and historical resources letters to the department or to the county council in regards to amendments that she'd like to provide public testimony or written testimony at the next opportunity. Is there a second?
I said.
It's been motion and second by Bambi. All those in favor say aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will work with Miriam and get the dates from Kendra and keep you posted, Jojo. Thank you. Okay, next we'd like to go to the next agenda item, Hawaii High Kailapa Evacuation Road. Committee member Jojo Tanimoto to provide an update followed by potential decision making. Go ahead, Jojo.
Okay,
Kailapa subdivision is in Kauai High, it is on Hawaiian homelands. It is bordered on both sides by two cultures. One is the historic Forum Gulch, where the Forbes caves did hold the Ali's bones. Okay. The other side is the Kaiopai Gulch. And that is the preferential request from the Kailapa Association and the communities. Okay. The reason being on that side is that gulch is shallower than the other side, which is deep all the way. So we did have a Hawaiian Homes Commission meeting yesterday, Tuesday, and it was brought up to the commissioners. What they have done is send us the enforcement division. And we will be working towards that. The public works from the county council, the last public works director set aside funds to help with this program, connecting this. We have talked with the department to find an alignment to go from Kailapa subdivision over Kaiopai. And that would take us into Kohala Estates, which takes us all the way up Kohala Ranch to the Kohala Mountain. Because we have one egress, and that's onto the Akonipule Highway, which is next to all the gulches, which breaks if we have an earthquake or if we have flooding and all that kind of stuff. So we need an alternative, and that alternative is to the Kohala Mountain route. Okay. We also had a fire break. The firefighters people came and they fenced it all in. So our community is essentially, well, I gave you folks a picture of the fire break. We're like in a cattle pen. You got all the fencing right around, so we can't get out. So the firewise people were supposed to put in a gate. And we wanna use that location to get across to the other subdivisions. And the Kohala Ranch subdivision, where Mr. Donovan said he had a home there. That subdivision allows the public to go to the Kohala Mountain, and then you can come to Waimea or come back down if we have to go towards Arrows or whatever. Right now, we have none. Except for the an example I'd like to share is 2 weeks ago, we had fire down at the Kohala and the Kauai High Road intersection. We were all stopped at the minute stop. The line went all the way back. And so we could not pass it. We all had to turn around. Went to Kohala Ranch. The problem is when the fire was over, the line from the Waiaka Bridge, where they were, that three-way intersection, went all the way back to the water in. And so anybody that wanted to go through Kohala Mountain Road could not get to that intersection that goes to Kohala Mountain Road. So our subdivision is the one that's stopped. The others have that alternative access. The ones that don't have an access is the ones down by the harbor. They have only one way if that bridge breaks. Okay, so that was the essence of getting the evacuation road. So it's working. The county is on it. Fire chief gave me a call today. He wants to get on that site visit. He had, who else is there? Hawaiian Homes, like I said, a State Department of Transportation gave the funding for the firefighters. So they're all on board now. So that's where we're going. See how we can, when we can do that. That's a timeline and a funding amount, right? Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jojo. I am in receipt of your September 8th submission also, requesting that the action committee approve general policy to provide transportation and circulation needs. Can you For the Kohala Kailapa evacuation road. Can you elaborate or make a motion?
That's the way the book needs a circulation, the traffic circuit, that's the way the document. So I use that.
That is correct, that's what I asked of you to provide when you was at the community
Yeah.
center, so now you provided,
The
I'm
reason.
asking you to make a motion.
And we didn't go
On behalf of Jojo, the request is to the action committee to approve a letter be created and sent to the planning department in regards to the general policy and provide for transportation and circulation needs for the Kauai High Kailapa evacuation road and emergent situations.
Yes.
There's a motion being made by the chair. Is there a second?
Okay.
It's been seconded by Owana. Any discussion further, Jojo? No further discussion? All those in favor of accepting the motion as stated, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And you.
Motion carries. We will work with you to create a letter, and Mariam can help with the draft. To prepare, and now can sign it off and submit it to upon your request, Jojo. That's all right. Okay. All right, and so now moving on with our agenda. The next agenda item, we've already heard, excuse me, any public testimonies on matters not on the agenda today. We've allowed James to speak earlier. Is there anybody in attendance that would like to put a public testimony? If we could get on mic, you can state your name. And I'm not sure if you need to sit in the middle chair so the owl can see you. I would appreciate that. State your name, your first and last name, and then you have 3 minutes.
I'm Sharon Gilbert, and I apologize, I did not intend to testify today. But about a month ago, I had to go on the upper road and paid for the repair to my bumper. And on our way down to the meeting, our son lives here in Waikoloa in the house that we own. Yeah, we had to brake and honk the horn and do the normal things that we all have to do. And I was wondering who might be helpful with goat control. It's the DLNR. And so DLNR would be the best. I mean, I was thinking of writing letters, because we all experience this, right? I mean, it's such a normal thing, but it costs money. And someday there could be a bad accident because somebody swerves violently and, you know, causes a bad wreck. And it does appear that this is something that should be addressed. Thank you for your time.
Sharon, what was your name again? Thank you, Sharon Gilbert.
Sharon Gilbert.
Thank you, Sharon. Any questions for Sharon? Go ahead, Jojo.
Yes, the county, under the mayor's department, has a advisory group just like this, okay, it's called the game management, the management committee. Okay?
So the mayor.
They had their meeting last week. They have passed a motion to use a strategic plan. You know, so they're working at a draft at this point. That's what they had last week, right? Okay, so they're working at the goats, because it looks like the goats came from where we live in Kauai High. Then when you had the fire, everything all the way down, so they ran way away. So now they're going back our way too, so you guys have a majority and we have some, where we are some.
We live in Kona, above the airport, Kona, but everyone.
Go to the beach and you're with goats.
Right,
Yes.
And we got them down by the harbor, so all the big trucks and everything, and see them, you know, so that whole project as we sent to the game manager. I was on.
So the mayor committee on. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. And thank you all for your time on the committee. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you,
I
Jojo,
just
for your
wanted to
response.
see what went on.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Jojo, would you happen to know when they have the open season for hunting then? That's the only reason why I asked. It's I mean, we actually have traps, so what we're doing at the hotels is they've allowed members to bring a goat trap, pig trap, for catch the goats, and they're working on a system to sell them. And so, we wanna, I guess, I'm trying to monitor if that is an issue, cause I know the pig situation was the issue here on the golf course. Because they come down and they search for water, and the same on the hotel side, so it's all around, I think, not just necessarily sharing goats, but it has been an increase of pigs since the fire on the Mauna has been happening as well, so I think it's kind of redirecting all the animals coming down from the Mauna as well, so. But I think it's very super dry now. They're coming down for water, and it is, I've noticed I travel over the Mauna on Daniel K. Highway almost more than once a week, so I do see an influx in dead animals on the side of the road. Which is a waste, but it is a concern for safety, so.
Yes.
Especially with fog up there, when it comes super foggy and you cannot see, and by the time that you see them, you already hit them, so. Yeah, that is an interesting topic, so thank you for bringing that up and bringing awareness.
We do have, different organizations that do have, permission from the other lines in the forestry division. They have their own program, how they can go hunt, how they can trap. And in Kauai High, we have the Mauna Kea and Water Conservation District. They have a small program, certain people can go in. They have the, Kohala. The Kohala Center, they have a program going in on that. For Waikoloa, they don't have anything yet. But Kona has a lot of goats as well. So the mayor, has asked his council, the gate management council, to try and work out a program. So they came up with a draft strategic plan. So they're talking about it. It's in the conversation now.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
That's the
you.
best wishes.
Yes.
Yes,
There's so many girls.
it is. Go ahead, Julia.
I just wanna add the nightingales that return to Waikoloa too, I think. Be careful.
Yes,
Right.
they're bigger.
So it's not a joke anymore.
No,
It is.
there's about 30 or 40 of them. I think Jeff from the water company had written on Nextdoor that he counted them, or somebody in the community had seen them and they counted them. It was like 40 or 50 head count.
Oh,
They're
I
back.
did not know that. All I saw was the dead one on the roadside. Oh,
They're back.
there, yes.
That's interesting. I'll keep this on deck when we do have our chairmans and vice chairmans meeting. I know we do have a training session coming up with the mayor and Micah. And so we'll keep this on our back burner for sure, or put it on our next agenda item. I'll put that on our new business as a follow-up in regards to, your concerns, and it is a concern for all the different, and I think we have a close communication with the chair of the Kona Action Committee, CDP Action Committee, so we can collaborate that on that group chat, so thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.
Any other public testimony on matters not on the agenda?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go
Actually,
ahead.
Kendra, actually, do you have any information on Nanakai? And how they are working their water, how they get their water and how they get their electricity, their utilities? That's, Nanakai is the Whitewell Heights development, that's the marketing for it, yeah.
Actually, that was one of the questions that, I think we talked about
Yeah,
at the
I
last
kind
meeting.
of forgot about that.
It's okay, not a problem. I have 3 other action items that I need to forward to Christie from your meeting tonight, and I'll put that on the action as well for a response.
Great. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, Kendra. Any interest in sitting as an action committee member? You know, we recruited. I just had to squeeze that in there. We are holdovers, by the way. Yeah, just kidding. We have such an amazing crew here now. I think we're having movement. It's going somewhere, so it's kind of improving, but we really appreciate your guys' attendance today. If I'm hearing and seeing nobody else wishing to make a comment on or testify on on the agendas, agenda items that is not listed. Moving on, third party reports, we already had Kendra given the opportunity to speak, so thank you. And then next order of business is proposed new business items. Go ahead, Julia.
I would like to propose, new business for, our next CDP meeting, to include the 2 top priorities that were in the 2008 publication of the South Kohala CDP, and that was after years of community input. And they are the ones that have come up for a long time, the second access road, which we are delighted in Waikoloa to have, Mr. Matt Chalker as, I think, the president of the, wildfire advocates, wildfire safety advocates of Waikoloa. Maybe he should come and report to an upcoming CDP meeting on what he's been doing to get traction on that, to try to push this really critical, project along. I know Mr. Hustis had gotten, was it $500,000?
2.5.
$2.5 million for a plan for that, but I wanted to parlay the second permanent access road with the 2020 census in Waikoloa added 2,560 residents and brought us to 7,366 residents, according to what was recorded on the census. Estimating we're halfway through that 10-year, we're 5 years, we'll have our next one, and I'm doing an average that the increase based on what was from 2010 to 2020, that we got at least another 1,280 persons that are living here, in addition to the lofts, which is open since 2022, 168 units, the Waikoloa Affordable Housing Makani Kai, 110 units, Waikoloa, the low-income housing with 60 units. We've got Nahali Mokoa with 139 units that will be coming up, according to the Department of Housing for the county, in the first quarter of 2026. There should be occupancy, and they're supposed to be working on doing applications in September, but I haven't heard anything further on what's going on with that project. But anyway, I would like to get these 2 really important items for that one and the community center, which I kind of brought up earlier. The community center gym doubling as an evacuation location for our Makai neighbors and us. It could even be a great place for a respite for our firefighters if they're in the middle of fighting a fire, for them to get some sleep and some food. We had an emergency, a gym shelter here. So I think that those need to get on our proposed new business, and hope that we can start really honing in on these things, because we're at least 8,700 people in Waikoloa Village, and we have 1 road in and 1 road out, and there's they're building the development for Nanakai. Something needs to be done. This is shameful. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Question?
I was just gonna say,
Yeah, go ahead.
if you invite me, I'll probably come as long as I'm free, so that's fine, but I don't know much. I don't, I can share what I know, but it's not much, it's nothing groundbreaking or public, but I'll talk about what I do know, that's fine, I'll totally do that. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you. Our next meeting, I think, is, we'll get there. Any other new items, new business?
Can I ask a question I asked before? And that would be, if the CDP and CRC would like to be notified by the Department of Interior in regards to the highways or, part of the historic preservation, the NEGRA and Native Hawaiian Preservation Act. So, would you guys like to be, or should you guys be involved with being contacted if it affects our South Kohala area?
Are you, we're going to,
Can you elaborate, Jojo, what you're trying to explain? I guess, is it, highways for Waikalua or because of the second access road or? Well, it could involve all of it, because you gotta do the EIS or what, environmental assessment at least. Because you gotta do that, and some of the roads are funded by the federal government. And because we're doing the cultural research for Kauai High. They had asked, they had sent, and they wanted to know, if there are interested people or should be notified. But, it's not my call, right? So that's why I'm asking you, you guys wanna be on that contact list for the CRC or the CDP? I don't know how that works with the government, but if you guys need to be contacted. Okay, for example, the Cultural Resource Committee, they were going to deactivate the historic presence of the Makahuna Bridge. Was built by the Army, so that the Army can get to the harbor. They built the harbor and all that stuff. But they want to decommission it, because that's the one that has all of the timber inside there, that's the one that had the salt pans, that's the one. They had salt pan and fish pond. But that's the one that might break every time you get tsunami, you get, flooding and all that kind of stuff, so. They wanna decommission that from a historic site. But the community is saying, no, we want that site, and that's the only way you could get out of Kauai High. If you use the harbor, there is no other way, you gotta use Kauai High Road, right? So and so we said that it is historic, we did make a comment, we were not invited. So now we're being invited, I'm wondering if you guys should be invited as well.
well, the county and the planning department can look no further from their own reporting on the Waikoloa Village and the second access road. And there were apparently alternative routes that were determined, all of them were affected by gulches. We have the same situation here, there's been developers that were tapped to do it, the Inalea, 1010 Puako, they were supposed to do things, I mean, the county has just effectively always thrown infrastructure on the backs of the developers, and we know what happens with developers, a lot of times they just disappear, go away, do the minimum they need to do, like possibly what might happen with Waikoloa development, and then, so.
I get federal funding, great.
Well, you have to have shovel ready, shovel ready is like usually the word that goes along with federal funding. And we're not even at a point of federal funding, but in the CDP book, there was, they said that there was reporting that was done or research that was done on different roads, and maybe Matt could jump in on this and do.
Where was that, what?
No, in the CDP book that there was, routes that were determined, like for, I mean, it was vague stuff.
I said about the maps.
Correct. So, yeah,
I think to wait till next month, meeting and put that on as a future agenda. Can we do that? Or should we do that? That's the part I have, is should we even do that?
I don't know, I mean, can we request, do I have to file a Freedom of Information Act from the county planning department from the 17-year-old records and or 20, whatever, how long ago was they said that they did research on all this stuff for that road? I don't know. Kind of CPR it.
we will work on it being put on the next agenda. And then we will clarify the intent of the research. And what we are asking of planning to do, so when we discuss the next agenda with Miriam, Scott and I will put this on the agenda, and if we have any questions, we'll reach out to Julia.
Even had $40 million, was what they estimated the cost of that, where it was, you know, it was, like I said, 17 years ago.
Seems like we're just running around and chasing our own tail with this rule. Just hate the thing.
Well, one of the other options was to add it to existing homes.
Yeah.
Each resident, it'd be like adding $100 a year, $200 a year. And then the condos was a different rate, and then the new homes that were gonna be built, were gonna be like 2,400 or 2,800 a month, a year. You know, so it was kind of like, they were gonna add it in. That was when, Kim was here, and he just said, oh, everybody's resisting, nobody wants to do it, so that's just an easy way for them to get out of trying to implement something, so it just needs to get done. It's just getting ridiculous. I want to see it before I die.
How long has it been an issue for all, has it worked, you know, to get done?
Oh, it's been in the CDP book.
Right.
Which was a result of 3 or 4 years of community working together to come up with our priorities. So the book was published in 2008. So only 20 years in 2028, nothing's been done. I think I've dealt with 4 county council people. I mean, James is new, but Margaret Willie, Tim Richards for 2, and Cindy Evans for 4 council people. Nothing. Yeah, and P2.
What is the holdup, you think?
Funny.
So there's no way that we could get on the, like, you know, when the mayor's office starts to, put together his financing, that we could just for gathering that way?
Well, you know,
I mean, do you have a ballpark figure, numbers per se?
it was $40 million in the CDP program.
Okay. It's gonna probably be more.
Yeah, because of the gulch. And interestingly enough, when Mayor Kimo Alameda got in, and a few months later, Mayor Roth was started working for a bank. The first thing I did when I heard it on the radio, I texted former Mayor Roth, and I said, well, you know how much money the county needs, why don't you approve it? And you would call me. So I don't know, I mean, there's instruments that the county can use, but I don't know. Cause Pete often coaches me on it, and it takes some fortitude to put together, you know, and work, but
And how long has the community center,
how long,
how long has it been, the community center been on the agenda or not agenda, but should be talked about for a while?
His general plan?
Yeah.
2008.
See,
Yeah, so, what we would, and to kind of segue into another new business item, I'd like the opportunity for Owana and Bambi to provide their priorities and their initiatives for their existence on the action committee, because we had, in the past, we've been able to provide our top 3 priorities that we'd like to see changed, amended, or if there is any improvements that we could do in our own ahupua'a or in our own communities, for you guys to be afforded the opportunity to provide that. And this is where Julia's, I think, you know, has some frustrations, because 2008 to present day, there's not been a resolution to date. And it's kind of like how the accountability of our general plan, is there any weight as an action committee? And so I'd like to give you guys all the opportunity to put forward your folks' priorities. So I think Miriam, I'm not sure if you guys when you went through your introduction or your guys' orientation, if you guys were given the opportunity to provide your priorities when you guys were interviewed. And this is just a question, because I'd like to.
I can be
You
straight
guys
up
have-
with you, I don't remember.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't even remember when I had for breakfast, okay? That's the issue. Why? No, I totally get it, right? Because it's the reason why I joined it, 3 priorities, one of it being the second road for my law, right? Because it was due time, 20 plus, you know, 30 something, you know, whatever years. So zoning in on something like this, it really
coming together loudly saying, we need this 40+ million to make this road happen. And we don't wanna wait till the next administration, because it just keeps changing hands and then it takes a back seat, right? So I'd like to be there to help you push it, and that's kind of what my whole, and I know what's her name, Miriam knows, right? Or whoever. I mean, when I applied for this position, my biggest thing was getting these action items completed, right? Awesome. And that's what I, right? And money. We need more money on our side.
So next meeting, you want us to share
Yeah.
top three?
Definitely, yeah, and if you get 6 or 10, we can narrow them down to see where we can help support you as an action committee. We wasn't afforded kind of that opportunity in the past, and I think in the motion of us learning our roles as an action committee, Jojo has definitely learned to, put together a formal written document where we'd be able to review her intent and kind of formulate it that way, so it does have some weight and some substance. Cause Scott and I are still learning as the chair and vice chair, and so, yeah, I'd like to give you guys that opportunity on the new business, to add that agenda items to your priorities on the agenda items in the next meeting. So prior to the next meeting, reach out to me, and send me your guys' priorities, whether it's 10, 20, narrow them down with an asterisk or however you wanna identify it. So that way we can have some voice in your guys' contribution, and I think not only you guys too, I know you guys have heard the agenda items from Scott and I, over the times, and Jojo, so I'd like to kind of move, if there's agenda items, Jojo, I'd like to, since now we've made motions on a few of them, and we will kind of have a letter to approve at the next meeting and get that off the agenda, so the next 2 meetings in the future, we could put your guys as one and kind of have that flow and kind of work towards that as an action committee, because I don't want it to be stagnant where we get frustrated, because like you said, and nothing kind of gets done. So, I mean, now we're learning how to write letters with the planning department supporting us and using our resources through the planning department. So I think that's been very efficient now. We have some kind of grounds there. Scott, anything for new business next time? No?
I agree with the Kohala communities, community center, and then also, although, next meeting is in, next meeting is in Waimea, correct?
I believe so.
Okay, I think we should put some Waimea issues up there. Seeing as it is in Waimea. But also, I think the Waikoloa Community Center is good for that as well, but, probably for the next couple of meetings, actually.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
the community center, Julia, you asking for?
Yes. Housing.
Now I'm questioning, and the only reason why is because the new one in Waimea gonna be built by District Shuli Park. And this should have been first priority compared to the one that we already have many in Waimea, like we get the schools, the gyms, the community center already existing, even though it's gonna fall down pretty soon. But I think, like, how did that skip the agenda items versus Waikoloa needing that facility, like, like.
Because I must confess, we were the stepchildren of the district. We always get overlooked here. We went 3 years without a park being open for our children here. If kids could vote, it would have been a different outcome, but anyway, I want to add one more thing if I can. There's something in the Hawaii County Chapter 32, which is called a Special Improvement Financing by Community Facilities Districts. And we need to bring this up. This is what I texted to Mayor Roth after he was out of office, and I said that hopefully the county can work with you to finally get Waikoloa that second permanent road and maybe relief for our island-wide cesspool woes. It's likely the only tool in our quiver to get our road and our cesspool conversions island-wide compliance, and that would probably apply to Pulco. But we need to learn more about how we can use this tool that's in our county charter. Because I think this is gonna be the only way that we're gonna get what our communities need. And it's.
For the record, I'd like to ask that the planning department invite Mayor Kimo Alameda and his administration who could provide us answers to these questions. But that's just me. I don't know. I don't know if I'm out of order. I totally support that. Kendra, go ahead.
Chair, I've also added to my list either, department heads, be it water or planning. Or in conjunction with Council Member Eustace, that will provide a report from our office of individuals to potentially come before this committee. To speak on, direct topics, as you had Administrator, Talmadge come, and some of that, like yours.
Thank you. Kendra, I love having you at this meeting. Thank you so much for your community service.
Very.
I know, I wanted to reach out to Kendra, not Kendra, but Karen, sorry. Karen, are you aware of the Kohala cesspool situation and their funding project already rolling out?
Which one?
Kohala?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. Okay, any other business items for the next meeting? Hearing and seeing none, we're moving on to our agenda. Announcements, I do have a few announcements. One of the announcements is first of all, in our district, the Paniolo festivals, the Paniolo parade with the Aloha festivals that is happening Saturday, 10 to 11:30. And Ho'olaulea to follow at the district, Kamuela District Shooting Park. That's what's called, Shooting District Park, sorry. That's happening this weekend. The other announcement I'd like to make is, I know we had, in regards to advanced healthcare directives, it's a free workshop. The next one, we just had one in Waimea, Tuesday, September 16th. The next one is Sunday, November 2nd, 2025, 2 to 3:30 p.m. in Hilo. Reach out to me if you have any questions. There is a contact information and a flyer that was sent out from the county. There's also a mental health summit that's happening tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. to 4:00 p.m. at the Hilo Campus Center, room 301. In regards to the crisis response for Big Island. And then we have a civil events disaster preparedness fair, Saturday, September 20th, 10 to 2 p.m. at Kekuaokalani Gym in Kailua Kona. And so anybody have any other announcements? Hearing and seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yes. I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, Julia. It's been motioned and seconded by Owana. All those in favor to adjourn the meeting at 6:48 p.m. signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Thank you, everybody, for coming to tonight's meeting. Meeting has been adjourned.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, Karen.